Okay, we're in the state of Vermont. Those nice mountains you see in the background are the mountains here in Vermont, just south of Burlington, Vermont. You're watching What's Going On here. I'm Bob Venn, and this morning, this beautiful morning on Friday the 13th of September, Sam Castine on the mic, and we're over here for a special tour of Shelburne Farms. You've heard about Shelburne, Vermont, and the museum and all that. Today we're at Shelburne Farms Visitor Center and Farm Store, open from 9 to 5. There's 5 tours, but we're taking a personal, private tour today. And we're going to be talking with Megan Kemp, who works here at the Shelburne Farms, and also 2 Champlainers, Kate and Wallace Zwiers. From Champlain, who are volunteers here who take tours, and they're going to be going around with us also. And as we go through these gates right here, we'll be going out to the Shelburne House, the Shelburne barns themselves, and see the other premises here. We'll be going by with my car, but at this point, we're going to take that little tour where it says Visitor Center and Farm Store. We're going to go around, and we're going to meet the people over there. And then we'll be doing maybe a 20-minute or so movie that's showed here before you actually go on to the tour, so you can see what's going to be coming up, and we're going to make some, and we'll see our own live action from there. And then we have no idea how long this is going to be, but we hope you'll stay tuned with us. And remember, watch Hometown Cable every night. I think the hours have changed again. I think we're on at 5, 8, midnight, and 9 a.m. right now. I think they just changed the first part of September. So if you don't know exactly, tune in 8 o'clock, and if it's not on yet, keep watching, and keep watching Hometown Cable every night, and, of course, especially What's Going On here on Sunday night. Okay, we're now standing with
Megan Camp.
Megan Camp. You're an employee here. You work here year-round?
Yes, I'm the program director.
Program director at Shelburne Farms. And here is a volunteer.
Kate Zwiers
Of Champlain,
New
yeah,
York.
a neighbor of ours right there in Champlain. And Wallace, her husband, is right over here keeping off. I will get him on the camera here a little bit later. He's got his own camera getting a shot. All right, well, Megan, thank you very much for allowing us to make this tour, and we hope we can get some of your what Shelburne Farms is on camera. Tell us a little bit what a director does.
I oversee all the public programs, and we have about 70,000 visitors a year to Shelburne Farm, so that keeps me pretty busy.
70,000.
70,000.
Well, over 50 weeks, that's over 1,000 a week?
Yes.
Is that right?
Well, we have a busier time of the year from Memorial Day to mid-October when we're open to the public. But we have visitors all year long, especially school children with our education programs that are held here.
Classes, you mean?
Classes. And
Is
hopefully
that right?
today we'll get a peek down at the visitor center and be able to see some of that in
Okay.
action.
All right, so just give us a scan, maybe here in 1 minute,
Sure.
what we're going to do.
Okay.
We're going to go from here to what location?
We're going to start here at the visitor center, and this building used to be the gatekeeper's cottage that used to keep people out of Shelburne Farms when it was a private estate. And now that we're a nonprofit organization, instead what it does is welcome people in. And this is the first stop for every visitor. And inside the visitor center here, we have a multimedia slideshow that's open year-round, free of any charge, and it talks about the history and the evolution of the farms to a nonprofit conservation organization. Also inside, we have a variety of goodies, especially our farmhouse cheddar cheese, which I'll tell you more about today.
Okay. Tell us who Megan Camp is. Where are you from, Megan?
I'm
Burlington?
right here I'm a Shelburne resident, and I've been working at Shelburne Farms for 8 years.
Mm-hmm. Before that, you raised here in Shelburne?
Nope, actually, I was raised in the Boston area.
Did they let Bostoners come into Vermont like
Believe it or
this?
not, they
huh?
do, but they let me in because my grandparents are from Vermont.
Oh, gosh, and you're a native.
Right,
then,
and
huh?
I'm related to Ethan Allen, so
Oh,
they said
oh, golly
they'd
sakes.
let me immigrate here.
All right, because Vermonters are very tough on you.
They sure are.
If you're not born here, you're never a Vermonter.
Nope, my
right?
children won't be Vermonters, only my grandchildren will be.
I have a couple of grandchildren that were born in St. Albans. They're back in New York State now, but they are Vermonters.
Mhm.
So I guess they can come here in the future, right?
Right?
And how many acres are we talking about on this farm?
We have 1,000 acres.
That's
and
a lot of it, a lot of property.
That's a lot of property. We have 3 historic buildings. All of the buildings in the landscape are on the National Register.
They are.
Yep, we've celebrated. Shelburne Farms is over 100 years old, and some of those buildings are about 100 years old as well.
Why is Shelburne Farm here? What started this?
Well, the history is interesting, and when you watch the slideshow in a
That'll
few
tell us all?
minutes, it will tell you about.
Okay.
But it was once a private agricultural estate started by the Webb family, Dr. Webb and his wife Lila Webb, who was the granddaughter of Commodore Cornelius Vanderbilt. And what they wanted to do was build a model farm. They wanted to build the best farm in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And 4 generations later, Webb family descendants decided that what they saw the best use for this property was to open it up to the public and to have a beautiful open space like this to become a community resource and to use this facility to teach and demonstrate about the importance of agricultural and natural resources. And that's what Shelburne Farms is today.
Well, I don't feel so bad here as a guest today because Vanderbilts and Webbs didn't start here either in Vermont, did
No,
they?
they
were
didn't.
visitors too originally.
They were visitors too. They fell in love with this
All right.
area just as we do today.
Well, listen, thank you very much. We're going to go inside and see the movie. We're at Shelburne Farms in Shelburne, Vermont. You take Bay Road, I guess, off Route
Follow the black
7.
and white signs off Route 7.
Follow the black and white signs to the brown cows. They aren't black and white cows here. They got
Brown Swiss
cows. And they use their own milk to make your own cheese here, correct?
Yes, we do. An
Okay.
award-winning cheese.
Oh, award-winning cheese. I want to correct one thing. The shows have been changed again. We're starting now at 4:30 every afternoon, again at 8, midnight, and 9 the following morning. So you can watch Hometown Cable, this program and the ones like it, every night, 4 different times if you want. Either one of them, if you like it so much, watch me 4 different times. You can see Megan all 4 times, and also Kate. Thank you very much. We'll be right back to you after we see this movie. We've stopped on our gravel road here through the farm, and you're looking at Camel's Hump way off on the back here in Vermont, one of the mountains, the big mountain, and you can see the people. That's where we came from, that building over here to our straight ahead of me, and you see the bus with the people getting in, and I think in that case the tour guide goes right on the regular bus.
That's correct. They do. They speak as they go along and tell the people about the farm.
Okay, now as we pan over to our left, you can see some of the beautiful fields here at Shelburne Farms. I don't know what those signs mean up there. Can anyone tell me what those signs mean? Can you tell me what? It looks like a driving range.
Nope, the signs are actually posting our neighbor's land because this is a conservation area and it's a no hunting area.
All right. And now these are hay fields here. And do you know what was planted here, Megan?
We actually had oats planted here this year. In the field across the road, we had winter rye.
Okay. And you can see it looks like a golf course the way it's all landscaped. And this was, by the way, was planned this way, right? This was all set up and designed by a man back in the 1800s?
Designed by a famous designer, the father of landscape architecture, Frederick Law Olmsted. And Kate, do you want to tell them a little bit about Olmsted's design?
Well, it's a curvilinear design. If you were to see this from the air, you would note that there are very, very few straight lines. Everything is curved. Circle driveways, circle roads, and when you see the houses, you will see a bit of that curve in some of the hinges, in some of the roof designs, the windows. So together they have formed.
Excuse me, but look at this bridge, kind of like here where the 2 trees right over where the car's coming through.
Okay, what he planned this as was a blank canvas, and what he used as strokes were green trees, green plants, green bushes, and he. The basis for his design was the English landscape design, and they used this type of thing. It's a hillock. It's a mound of earth on which were planted evergreens, and this is very much like they would do in England. And this represented an island in the Sea of Green. And if the hay or the rye or oats or whatever is planted there has not been mown, it does ripple in the breeze and does resemble the Sea of Green.
Now, these cars that are coming out now, can you bring your own car in here and make your tour yourself?
No, actually what we try to do is encourage people to use our walking trails. And if you look over this way, as we showed you, we have a wonderful series
There's a walking trail right over here through?
Walking trails that when Olmsted designed Shelburne Farms over 100 years ago, he didn't imagine cars driving through this beautiful picturesque landscape. So what we try to do is keep the cars to a minimum. So we encourage walking, and then we also have the guided tours that are on an open-air wagon, which is really the way to enjoy the property. So it's not open for driving through.
Okay, certainly you can never appreciate this on camera like if you were here, all right? So that if people wanted to come over here, you're open through the mid...
Right, we start our season off Memorial Day weekend, and it runs through mid-October. Actually, this year we're ending October 20th. And it's a long enough season, which is pretty much what the general public sees in the state of Vermont. But our walking trails are open year-round, and our visitor center is open year-round as well. We also have a lot of special events, and if people want to find out about them, they can just write or call Shelburne Farms, and we'll send them off a calendar of events.
All right, Shelburne Farms, Shelburne, Vermont.
05482.
Isn't that a nice number? 05482.
And our phone number is 802-985-8686.
And as I always tell you, if a girl answers, don't hang up, because she's lots of fun too. All right. Do they need an appointment to come over? Can they just come right over?
No, they can just come right over. We have 5 tours a day, 9:30, 11, 12:30, 2, and 3:30.
Children are welcome?
Children are welcome, and we have a wonderful farm animal area for the children as well.
All right. He's getting a picture. He was until I bus went by of a farm barn's backyard. Well, it doesn't look like a barn to me, but I guess that's the big main barn right over here.
That's what we call the farm barn here, and there isn't any other barn quite like it anywhere in the country. It's an incredible building, and we'll stop there at the end of our tour today.
All right. Okay, so we're going to get back. I wanted to show you these beautiful fields and the beautiful hills. It's a gorgeous, and you'll notice as you look up, as we hit, I guess we're looking to the west. The land rises. We're on a rise here very much, and Sam's going over to get a little bit further picture right now of that barn. That's a huge barn.
That's one of the things with the design here is that the architect, whose name was Robertson, worked carefully with the landscape design. The building is sort of nestled into a hill. None of the buildings dominate the landscape, even though they're incredibly large structures, that they work together. And the other thing to remember about a landscape like this is that it's a working landscape. People drive here and they just think it naturally looks this way. Not only do we have to restore the buildings at Shelburne Farms, but we also have to keep working and restoring the landscape as well. This landscape wouldn't look this way if it wasn't a working farm. And we all know what's happening to today's farms.
We're going to do a story on that soon about farmers and all of the people who furnish the farms, the farm machinery, the farm dealers, the men who sell grain, the men who go pick up milk. It's changing everybody's lives. Now, Kate, for instance, how long have you been a volunteer here at Shelburne?
I think it's almost 4 years.
4 years, huh? Yes. Right, very rewarding. We were talking in the car.
Extremely rewarding.
And how often do you do this? Every weekend?
Once. Well, since I'm working at present, I only do it once a week.
Once a week you come over,
on Sunday morning, but I hope to be able to do it more often.
Okay, let's get this other man here and see what he does. You doing this also, Wallace? You working on the tours?
I'm a substitute.
You're a substitute, huh?
Yes.
Aren't men always substitutes, it seems, huh? All right. Well, Wallace, you've been here the same length of time, roughly, in and out?
Not quite. I didn't start until about 2 years ago.
Okay. Now, Wallace, you're from, not originally from Champlain. You're from a Vermonter.
Highgate.
Were you born in Vermont?
Yes.
Oh, there's one of the 4 out of a 5 here that were born in Vermont, in Highgate. And then you worked over here for a number of years for a paper company?
At Sheldon Springs, a Missisquoi Corporation.
All right. And retired, I understand, 4 or 5 years ago?
I retired in 1986.
And now enjoying that... the village of Champlain.
Oh, yes.
All right. You enjoying all that construction? Have they been by your house yet? Digging? Huh?
Yeah, we still haven't a driveway. We still haven't a sidewalk.
All right. Well, they'll be done in the next month. All right. Okay, we're going to move along now and follow that bus up the road here. And you're watching Hometown Cable. You're watching my program called What's Going On Here, Bob Venn, and we're at Shelburne Farms in Shelburne, Vermont. And it's a lovely day in a lovely surrounding. Thanks for being with us. All right, you know, one of the biggest incomes for Shelburne Farms, obviously, is the milk production. They've got about 60 or so milking brown Swiss, and this is the working barn where you have to keep your cows in the off-season, in the winter, and where they come to every morning and night so they can get the very rich brown Swiss milk that they make their cheese from. And this is the working barn. There's something running back there, and Megan went to see if she could find out what that is. As you look off to our left, you can see the more buildings and grounds, and then up on the hill, they got their own little hillside here, are the small individual buildings for calves. It has happened over the last few years that the farmers have decided that a young stock will do better if they're raised in individual pens, right? And then they can fumigate. They can.
The calves get a lot of fresh air. This way, if one gets sick, they don't all get sick. And one thing about the brown Swiss is they're such a nice, hardy breed that they do very well outside.
Okay. They are it's Swiss, right?
Yep, they're brown Swiss.
All right. And as you go over to the left a little bit more, you see a very nice home right here. And my first question would have to be, who lives there, Megan?
That's the home of Buster Searles, Gordon Searles. This is a official name, and he is actually our farm manager, and he's a very special man. He has a prize-winning herd of brown Swiss that are known nationally and internationally, and the milk from these cows is very high quality, and we make a very famous cheese with it.
Mm-hmm. Cheddar?
Shelburne Farms, farmhouse cheddar. What else but cheddar?
Right. How long has your manager been with you? Do you have any idea?
He's been here for about 10 years.
10 years? Oh,
and actually, if you'd like to meet him,
is he around?
Yep, we could go get him.
All right, maybe we can.
Yeah, because he could actually tell you a story about a very special cow that we have.
All right, now you got a second story on this barn up there?
Yeah,
you go upstairs?
That's actually an apartment for our farm staff.
All right, all right. And how many staff do you have? Do you know?
Working on the farm, I'll let Buster answer that question from you.
His last name is
Searles.
Searles. All right, Buster Searles.
We'll go get Buster.
All right, and we'll be right back to you. Don't go away, because Buster's going to be here in a moment.
Okay.
See those government plates on that blue car? There's a reason for that, because he came in and he's got a 10:30 appointment with Buster Searles, and as a result, we can't see him right now, if ever, because he's got an appointment. That's one of the, as Kate was saying, that's one of the safeguards, and they have an inspection here regularly, and it's one of the it's the day for it, and they got an appointment. This is a farmer that gives appointments. Many of the farmers out here and watching our show don't have appointments like this. I know they're coming in a certain day, but this man is here for 10:30 appointment, and we didn't have an appointment, so they're here. As a result, he's ahead of us, and we're going to go and try and get a shot now of that's Buster over there with the hat. If you want to see him from a distance, you're looking at him. All right, and he's the farm manager, lives in that house we just showed you, and he's got a meeting going. So we're going to take a walk down this little road here for about maybe 500 feet and get a nice, the first view that we had of the, we call it the guest house now?
The Shelburne House.
The Shelburne House.
Inn at Shelburne Farms.
The inn at Shelburne Farms, which I understand you can now...
Yep, we have 24 guest rooms, and it's open, same season, Memorial Day through mid-October. And you can come and spend the night or come for breakfast or dinner.
Okay, we're going to see part of the house.
Yes.
We can't see it all because they've got guests in the various rooms, but we'll see parts of the first floor, and we'll show you what the inn at Shelburne is, right?
Yes.
Okay, and we'll take a walk down where we can get a shot of that.
Yeah, but first we're going to go to the coach farm, and then we're going to go to the Shelburne house.
But I thought we were going to walk down and get a shot of it from a distance. Is that all right?
Yep, that'd be wonderful.
We'll be right back. We're just to the south of the working barn, and you can see the former home, right? The Webb home.
That was the Webb's home, and actually they lived there year-round. It was built in 1889, and it's now been converted into a inn and restaurant for the nonprofit.
All right, and if you'll notice, all those trees weren't there before, right? It was kind of would just stick right up in the air, though, and then all this was planned so that it doesn't just
right, actually from here.
Dominate.
Right,
that's the word I'm looking for. Instead of stick out,
right.
It doesn't dominate.
The building doesn't look as big as it actually is. It's nestled into the hill once again, like that farm barn.
Right. And if you look off to the left, you see how close it is. That the lake is just on the other side. The lake is right there.
And actually, you can see the tour wagon. That's the best way to enjoy the property. That's the tour wagon that you go around in when you come for one of our guided tours. And you'll have a wonderful volunteer tour guide on board with you.
All right. And they're telling you what's happening there.
Yep, they're telling you about the Shelburne house.
Right here in front of us, you see a manger that's been built on this side of the fence. And that's where the animals are, when they pastured in here, can come up here and get extra feed here,
Yep.
which I don't know why they're feeding them extra this time of the year, but they are. And there's water here, and if you'll notice, you don't push this kind of a fence over. I don't think that's the normal fence post you have all around the
Nope.
property.
And this is a good example how you've got the working part of the farm and the leisurely side
Right.
hand in hand. That why people come to Shelburne House and stay at Shelburne Farms is because it's a beautiful agricultural setting.
Okay, and then you even have signs here, you'll notice.
Sometimes
See
you
here?
can't be in a hurry. You have to stop and let the cows
All right, and
walk
then
out of the barn
and
and cross the road.
we're watching two. Yes, I would. Two people down here who are working, and we understand that one of them, his name is Webb.
Marshall Webb, he's fourth generation.
Fourth generation of the Webb family, and that would have been his great-great-grandfather, I guess.
Yes, who
Dr.
started
William Seward Webb. And the Webb money and the Webb income was from trains?
Well, actually, yep, Dr. Webb was married to Lila Vanderbilt, and that's where.
Okay, and there was trains involved,
Yep,
right? A lot
the
of,
New York
railroad.
Central Railroad.
New York Central Railroad, all right.
Yep.
And we'll try to talk to him, see if he's available. We'll get him to stop with
He's
his
a
hard
busy
work.
man.
He's a busy man, but we'll see if we can talk with him. Asked the gentleman if he wanted to get off the tractor. He said he would appreciate the 3-minute break. So I got a 3-minute limit here, I think. And this gentleman is
Marshall Webb.
Marshall Webb. Now, the Webbs, obviously, that's what we're here for, to talk about the Webbs. And you are a descendant?
I am a descendant of the original purchasers and builders of the farm, yes.
And I didn't expect to see a Webb on a tractor, Marshall. What's the story here?
Well, my job is Buildings and Grounds and Woodlands Manager, and that involves repairing water leaks if there are any water leaks. And right now we've got one here, which I've put off repairing for about a month. So it was time to get on it.
Right?
Yep.
Were you raised here at this location?
Yes, indeed.
So you've lived here all your life, quote unquote?
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
And now your father, see, that would be Dr. William would have been your great grandfather.
He was my great-grandfather.
Great-grandfather, huh? Yeah. So I don't know what I'm going to see here, but you live on the premises here? You live in that house?
I
Part
lived
of the house?
in that house as a kid.
You did?
I've got a lot of great memories of playing around in that house.
A lot of places to hide in there. You could play hide and seek in there back
The
then.
best hide-and-seek games ever.
Right.
And now I live half a mile or a mile south of here
Mhm.
right now.
How big a family are you from, your direct family, brothers and sisters?
There are 6 of us all together, 4 boys and 2 girls.
Anyone else on the premises here?
My
also?
brother Alec is the president, and he's my boss.
He's your boss.
Yes.
Huh? He's your older brother?
He's my younger brother.
Oh, you picked on him when he was younger. Now it's the
Yeah.
other way around? All right. Listen, Marshall, I don't know what to ask you here an awful lot, except that this is how long have you been physically working on the farm? Or you go to college and then came back?
Yeah, I went to college, and I've been working here since 1969.
Mm-hmm. And you like this type of... I don't know how it would feel to be on property that your great-grandfather was walking on. I mean, of course, I've been trying to find my relative. I don't even know his name, I don't think, and great heritage, something like this,
Yeah, well, I often wonder what he'd think if he saw me working a tractor and shoveling mud.
Well, he probably would say that the guy's going to get a good start. He'll know what work really is. I was raised on a farm, and Sam has about 70 young stock that he raises and sells, in addition to doing this. This is strictly a volunteer job for me. We have a program every Sunday night, and that's why we're here. And we know the Zweers from Champlain, and of course we met Megan this morning, and we're very pleased that we could be here. And I'm not going to hold you any more than this 3 minutes, because if your grandfather is watching, I want him to know you don't take very long breaks. Okay?
All right.
Thank you very much, Marshall.
Yeah,
Right,
good
bye
meeting.
now. Thank you.
All right.
We've stopped along the driveway here at Shelburne Farms, and you're looking at the barns where we just came from. Where that car is going, that little truck going. We're up between that V and that barn, and we've come along the driveway here, and we're just going to show you, because this beautiful view that most people in New York State have not had a chance to see, because we're usually looking to the east, and this is where you're going to look to the west. And as we were just pointed out by Kate, that you're looking at Broad Lake here. In other words, that's the widest part of the lake. Is that right, Kate? And we're talking probably 6 miles across from Burlington, probably to Cumberland Head area. That's 6 miles. Broad Lake, where they thought of putting a bridge at one time. And Sam was mentioning that stones out here must be islands, and there are several islands out there. Sam's, I think, focusing in on one, and those are called?
They were supposed to be the Four Brother Islands. No,
Brother Islands. Four Brother Islands
that's
they're
right.
called?
No, that's what I was told that they were.
All
You
right.
notice that because of its being Broad Lake, and probably as there are the erosion at the base of the cliffs.
Right over here,
heavily
you
in
see
the
that?
winter.
See the end of the this point comes out? There's erosion over here.
A lot of that where the wind and the waves pound the cliffs, and very often when you come back in the spring, you'll see trees almost on a horizontal basis over the water, and eventually they're uprooted and they go into it. Notice how clean the water
Yes,
is.
yeah. Kate was mentioning there's no sand here, all little stones and things, but look how clean this is along the shore. I assume that it's kept that way, right, too?
This is used during the day camp weeks when they have the children here for day camp. They rope off an area down at that end, and the water is so incredibly clean, and the pebbles are very, very smooth to the feet.
A lot of real small, flat stones, too.
Right, and you can notice from the driftwood that there is a tremendous wind.
Yes, and can come way up to here. You'll notice the water at one time has come way up to here with all the driftwood that's here, and a lot of these stones that are here, these flat stones, and they're not rough because they've been washed and pelleted with the water, and they're there's no sharp edges. Some big rocks along the shore, and if you look across, you can see the Adirondacks. Great shot on the horizon here of looking west at the Adirondacks, and Kate thinks that right over here to our left is probably Essex, New York. Beyond the point is Essex.
You'll get another whole panorama like this where you will see the nestling of the little buildings, which is Essex.
Okay.
And the ferry leaves Charlotte and crosses over to.
Okay. As a matter of fact, I think I made a mistake when I said from Burlington to.
It's actually. There is a Burlington ferry also, though, that would go.
Right. The Burlington goes across and comes out at Port Kent, and you're probably over into Port Kent area, right over here. And there's some more of these stones that stick out on this end. That's the that stick out the trees here, and just up above and to the left, where the lawn is manicured over there, is the back of where the Webb home was, and we'll be going there eventually.
In the garden, I can show you an area which was met with disaster as a result of the pounding of the waves and the winds.
Okay. All right. Now, the other thing we're going to look at is over here. That's where we're going next. The coach barn. See the big black roof here? I think it's black. And there's a bus parked in front, and that is also an educational center, I think you said, Megan. And that's where we're going to go next. And you'll see a bus parked next to the house. There are some more people. And there are more individual cars than I expected as we go up and down the road. Are these? What are these individual cars been going back and forth?
These individual cars, that was actually the Shelburne House staff that was leaving after their waiters and waitresses after their breakfast shift. And we also have, as I mentioned, 24 rooms here. So we have 24, over about 48 guests a night that are coming and going. And then we also have the education programs that you see a big yellow school bus there, but many of the volunteers and college interns and parents who come along on the trips come in their cars as well.
All right. And you're at Shelburne Farms. We've told you. You're watching what's going on here. Sam Castine on the camera, Bob Venn with the mic. And we have Megan Camp, Kate Zweers, looking like an Indian right now with her head out there. She's just looking to the south. And Wallace Zweers over here with me and with Megan. And pleasure to have you watching our program, and please watch it often.
Great.
We're just outside of what's a little courtyard to go inside to the coach house, built in 1901, is what it says up above the door. And there's a house over there. Yep,
that's staff housing.
Staff housing again. And just to give you an idea where we are, if you'll turn to the left here, Sam, and show you, there's the lake. We're on the other side of the house, and up on top of the hill is the Webb home. The inn at Shelburne right now.
It's no longer the Webb home anymore.
That's right. It's now the inn at Shelburne, right? Now, you're telling me there's a school bus here. We're going to see some school children inside. And you said that there's so many that want to come. You have some kind of
every day we have a school field trip from September through June. And we have over 5,000 school children visit Shelburne Farms each year. And when they come here, they have the opportunity to have a hands-on experience to learn more about agriculture. For instance, they might go up to the dairy and milk a cow and make butter and ice cream. They'll go into the sugar bush and tap a tree and collect the sap and boil it down. And today they're here, I think, for a harvest field trip.
Okay.
They're making apple cider and learning about what happens in the fall on a farm.
Okay, we're going to go inside, but you mentioned off camera that there's more.
Right, it's a very, very popular program, and it's gotten to be so popular, and the waiting list got to be so long for teachers that we had to start a lottery system to come up with the fairest way to decide who gets to come here. But since we can't reach every child that would like to come here, we work a lot with teachers, and we train them so that they can do these type of activities back in their own community and back at their schools. And we have a teacher training program where we train about 500 teachers a year from all over the country. And we work with a lot of teachers from right across the lake in New York State.
Do you? All right. I hope some of you teachers over there are watching this.
Yeah, it's a wonderful program. It's called Project Seasons.
All right, Project Seasons. You recognize yourself, you teachers that come over here? We're going to go inside of the coach barn now. You'll notice that's a copper, isn't it? Copper flashing, and that's why they have that color. It turns green on you.
Yeah, and the bricks were made in Essex Junction, not far from here at the Drury Brickyard. And that this building has been the education center for about 10 years. And now, as you can see, we're doing some restoration work, and we're renovating the facility so it can be used for special events and conferences.
All right, and you'll see the time up there. There's a clock inside here, and it says it's 10 after 11. We've been here since 10 o'clock.
That's the railroad influence there.
All right. Oh, it looks like a railroad station here. Yep. Yes.
And actually, we'll go see if we can find the children inside.
All right.
Nestled in the back of this building is our education center, and our plans are to move the education center up to that big barn, the farm barn, so we can accommodate more students. Because right now we're limited with the number of students we can reach because of the size of the facility.
Okay, and they're doing some renovation here right underneath the clock, right?
There's always renovation to do.
Yeah, reminds you of watching a Western movie when you're inside of a courtyard like this, when you're in a fort or something. I feel like I'm in a fort. Completely enclosed, steel gates to come in. Yeah. Okay, we're inside of the education center, and you can see there's a lot of other people in here, and they aren't quite as old as I am either. And we're on TV, Hometown Cable in northern New York. And hi, my name is Bob Venn, and yours?
I'm Raina Warren. Nice to meet you.
How do you do, Raina Warren? And you are, what is your title?
I'm the field trip coordinator here at Shelburne Farms.
Yes, and you also patch rulers?
I also patch rulers.
Does that mean you broke it over one of these little kids here while they were here this
No,
morning?
I think it disintegrated out in our soil.
It just fell right apart. And we got people here from Dartmouth this morning. You look at this here.
This is a group we have from Underhill. It's the 3rd and 4th grades from Underhill, and we've been studying soil. We were supposed to have aliens visit us today, but they were unable to come, and so we're gathering information for aliens from another planet that need to know about the soil. And we've been investigating all kinds of things, what soil's made up of, and how the water percolates through it.
Here's a sign talking about earthlings right here.
The aliens dropped off this box for us. We're on a mission.
How many teachers do you have here? 4 or 5?
We have 2 teachers from Underhill and 3 from Shelburne Farms.
I see. Now, where is Underhill? Tell us where Underhill is.
You guys want to tell me?
Yeah, well, maybe I can talk to these people. Can you tell me where Underhill is?
No.
It sounds like I'd be up on a hill, I go down, and it's under the hill. Is that what it means?
No.
Well, why don't you look at this camera right here so you can see you? That's not, well, where's Underhill?
I don't know.
You don't know? Do you live in Underhill?
Yes.
How are you going to get home?
Take the bus.
You don't have to know where it is, right?
Right.
I should talk to the bus driver.
Yes.
Your name is Nicole, Andrea, Misty, and Jeremy, right?
Let's meet you.
All right, same to you. And you're on Hometown Cable in northern New York right now. All right, you're on TV. And who's the lady with you? Is she your teacher?
No, she works here.
She works here. She don't know where Underhill either, does she? You know where Underhill is? You don't know where Underhill is? Do you know where Underhill is?
No. Can we say something to New York?
Of course. What do you want to say?
Like to say hi to Mrs. Let's see. Here, point to her.
Okay, point to her. All right.
Tell us what you did today.
Tell us what you've done so far.
Well, we took some soil tests out in the forest, and we put a can in the ground about an inch, and we poured water down, and we counted how long it took it to go down in the soil.
How long did it take?
The first time it took 50
Oh, you got the score.
50 seconds, and the second time it took 2 minutes and 14 seconds.
What?
2 minutes and 14
2 minutes and 14 seconds to go down?
Yeah. When the can was in the same spot.
You know, I always I always get mixed up, but now, are any of you people married? None of you are married?
Wish.
Oh, you're not married yet?
I wish.
You wish you were married? Listen, you know that person's name in New York State yet?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Mr. and Mrs. On. Definitely
You're- All right. Well, listen, thank you very much. You want to say something to me, too?
No.
You don't want to say? Well, thanks a lot anyway.
I'd like to say hi to Mr. and Mrs. Richard.
Well, all right. Where are they from, Champlain or Plattsburgh?
Plattsburgh, I think.
All right. Well, if you're in Plattsburgh, your name is Richard. He just said hello to you. Thank you very much. Okay. And I hope you can find the Underhill and get back. All right. Anybody want to talk to me here? Oh, gosh, look at all these. Oh, excuse me.
We're going to do a presentation here. We have to find out what we learned about soil. Because
All right.
aliens we need to know, and they may be coming down any minute.
Are you going to do a show or something? Or I better not here because people are going to be here. Talk to these people here. Go ahead.
Okay, what we need to do here is just let Minnie and I squeeze in here a little bit. Minnie's going to record all the information that we learned about soil so we can try and compare some information and see how we did. Since we have 8 different groups here reporting, we're going to have a lot of information, so that hopefully the aliens will be able to use all this in making their own soil. Maybe deciding what kind of soil they would like to have. So let's start off with the, let's see, we're going to have to divide those into 2 for the garden and the field. Let's start off with the deciduous forest. What was the pH of your soil? One group from the deciduous forest. Would you like to raise your hand and tell us here? Okay, let's see. Andrea. The pH was the last thing you did. It was sort of green. You remember what number that was? Between 8 and 9. Okay. No, we need everybody to be listening while one group's reporting because we have to try and figure out why these things are the same or why they are different. And what is a deciduous forest? What kind of trees were there? Remember, Nicole? The one the leaves fall off. Okay, how about the other deciduous forest group? Where are you? Okay, what was your soil pH?
Army green.
Army green, and what was the number?
pH
8 to 9, so that was the same. Okay, is that acidic soil? Do you think the cranberries would like to grow on that, or is that a basic soil?
Basic.
That's pretty basic, okay? So lots of things might like to grow in that. How about, where's the coniferous forest? Choose one group from the coniferous forest, okay? What's your pH? That was the last one.
Ours is 7 and 6.
Wow, okay, between 6 and 7. Is that acidic or
7.
basic?
That is,
If it's lower than a 7, it's acidic.
yeah, so it's acidic.
So that's
A little acidic.
Okay. Wow. Okay, how about the other coniferous forest? Yes, what was your number? You got an 8 to 9. So why do you think those 2 coniferous forest pHs are different? Anybody have any ideas? Yeah?
Because they're on a higher hill than we were.
Oh, okay. So you guys were higher up on the hill? Were there lots of pine needles where you guys were? Did you all have lots of pine needles? You did too. Okay, so that might have something to do with it. Let's see what else we've got. How about the garden group? One of the garden groups want to give us your report, okay? What's your soil pH? 8 to 9? 9.5. Wow. So is that an acidic soil or a basic soil? Basic like baking soda or like vinegar? Remember when we did the test in here? Like the baking soda. Okay. And how about the other garden group? Yes, what was your number? An 8, and what, so that was green too? Is that a basic soil? Okay. So we've got 2 different garden soils. Were you all in the same area of the garden? What was different about where you were? Yes.
We were in
Okay, we've left the children in there with their teachers, the 5 teachers, and what are they doing in there?
Well,
Megan?
actually, this was a group of, as you learned, students from Underhill, although they don't know where Underhill
well,
is.
at least 4 of them did it. Maybe I'll find somebody that knows where it is.
Right. And what they're doing is they've been spending the morning out in the field learning about soil. And you might say, well, why is it important to teach these students about soil? We think it's very important, because if you don't understand about a basic important resource like soil, you won't understand where your food comes from, where the clothes that you wear come from. And we're very concerned here at Shelburne Farms that children are growing up not having any connection to their basic natural resources into agriculture. So the purpose of our programs is to give children a better understanding of that. And we try to do it in a way that's fun and hands-on. For instance, they kept talking about these aliens from outer space.
Yes.
You might say, what are they talking about? Well, what we wanted, soil isn't something that teachers or students are going to get all excited about learning about. So what we did was write them a letter that was sent to their school that was addressed from aliens from a planet called Trid, which is dirt spelled backwards. And these poor aliens came from a planet that was so polluted that they couldn't support life. And the letter said that they noticed that all life from the planet Earth comes from this dead brown-gray substance that earthlings call soil. And what they've done is asked them, they sent down a box that was a special outer space box and asked them to do a very important favor for them. They said that we've deduced that you must be a highly technical group of scientists because we've seen you out in the woods observing things and collecting things. And will you please help us and find out about this dead brown gray substance called dirt? Tell us all about it so that we can manufacture it back on their planet Trid. Now what that's done is make soil become something exciting. Those children were out in the field doing science. They had their little clip sheets. They were doing pH tests. They were doing compaction tests, percolation tests. But it was more fun because they were doing it for these aliens from outer space.
Let's talk about pH. I don't know what pH is. I just know it can be between 6.5 and 8 or 9. What's pH?
pH is actually the level. It's very complicated.
Well,
it's
just
give me a
synopsis.
Logarithm. But the concern about why they learn about pH is some plants like to grow in some soil that is more acid, or if it could be more basic, which is the opposite of acid. And actually, there's been a concern now with acid rain that we're changing the pH of the soil and of the water, and that's affecting buildings and all of the problems.
How did they determine that it was 8, 6, and 7? What
they
kind of
actually
test?
were little scientists. We went to the hardware store and we bought little garden pH tests, and they love it because it has little tiny test tubes, and they put the soil in and they put the pH solution and they shake it up and they read it, and so they're using all their science skills, and that's what we're trying to.
They could go home. But they could go home and test their own soil and tell their father why the grass isn't growing so good.
And for us, it isn't so important that they know what a 6 or a 7 or 8 is. What we're hopefully teaching them is for them to be able to draw conclusions, to observe the world around them. They'll be able to look at things, guess, test, and tell.
All right. Now, we're in a beautiful room here that's probably 40 by 30 or something, and there's nothing in here at all except you and I and 3 other people.
Tonight there'll be about 200 people in this room. One of the things that Shelburne Farms does is to allow more public access is that we have a lot of special events here. And this building is used for it. For instance, the next weekend, September 21st, is a wonderful day. It's the annual Harvest Festival. This is our 12th annual Harvest Festival. This building will be filled with musicians and performers and music and food and demonstrations that teach all about agriculture. There'll be sheep shearing demonstrations, a corn roast. There'll be every variety of farm animal that you can imagine. It's a fun family day.
Now, these heating systems on the wall indicate to me that you're going to use this in the winter too?
Yes, we do. Well, we don't have events here in the middle of February, but we do extend our season. As you know, right now we're still in our official summer season. It can be a little chilly here, so we try to keep people comfortable.
All right, then we're going to go back in there and hear some singing or something, maybe?
Yep, the children now have got to get these earthlings. These earthling children have got to get these aliens from outer space excited about soil. So what better way to do that, not to give a boring scientific report. So what they're going to do is take all that information that they learn and turn it into a song or a jingle or a rap or a poem or something to communicate about soil.
Now, this is a 3-hour program?
Actually, it's an all-day program. They come at 9:30 in the morning and they stay after lunch until
the same
about
group?
The same group. so about 1 o'clock. And we work with children from the preschool age to the 6th grade age, and then we also work with their teachers as well.
What are the teachers that are in there doing the rest of the year when they're not doing this?
The Shelburne Farms teachers, they work here every day. We have students here, yep, and we also travel
All
to
year
the
long?
school all year long, and we run workshops in the summer that teachers can get graduate credit at, and then the teachers who are here are just visiting from their schools for the day.
All right, they're very orderly in there, very quiet. Thank you very much,
Yep.
Megan. You're watching Hometown Cable. As you know, you're on Channel 21, and we're at Shelburne Farms. Megan Camp is our host today, and we're also being directed around by Kate and Wallace Zwiers from Main Street in Champlain, New York.
To go on the tours, and then we supply a step-on guide.
All right. Now, if a group over in New York State who are watching this program, that's where this is going to be shown, decide that would be very interesting. Let's get some of our senior citizens, our 40-year-olds, our 30-year-olds, somebody else, they would contact you?
Yes.
How long ahead would they have to get an appointment?
Well, it would help if it, could be a week or more, but several months, whatever the time frame
Okay,
is.
so it'd be pretty tough this year now. You're pretty well booked in until the end of October now?
No, there are still openings. We don't do a great many buses in one day because we don't want that much traffic on the property, so we would spread them out through the day, perhaps in the morning or the afternoon, so we certainly do have openings for them. It's just according to what day it might be.
Okay. These people get off the buses too and walk around too?
Yes, they do. They come in and we usually start at the visitor center seeing our award-winning slideshow, and then with a step-on guide such as myself, we get on the bus with them, then we take a tour of the property and a circular tour.
You made a point to say the award-winning
Slideshow.
What does that mean? What do you mean by award-winning?
That it has won awards
guess
for
that's what it makes sense.
its content and for the narrative, for the musical background. It's a really wonderful show, and it gives you a good overview about Shelburne Farms over the last 100 years, going from an agricultural estate to a nonprofit education organization. So it's really a good way to start, that you have this overview, seeing what's happened in the past, what's happening in the present, what we project for the future, and then I always say that I'd like to share with you more of Shelburne Farms, and then go on.
Okay, we've already would have been shown here already. Now behind you here we got a few pictures of some birds and some signs and things. This all has to do with the
education program
part.
and things that would interest the teachers, and new programs that we have about the science programs and different things that the teachers would like to know.
If you look over here, you see these compartments. Doesn't that make you feel like you're right in school? Look, just like St. Mary's in Champlain. Look at this. You got your place for your book and your book bag and your coat, I guess. And there are a few coats this morning because it was kind of cool this morning. Didn't freeze last night yet, but it's getting close to it.
Getting brisk.
All right, we're talking with Dorothy Hawley. She's the tour coordinator. I got to remember these names here. Tour coordinator. And there's a payphone here, so you have to call somebody. We don't have to do that right now, so we're going to take a short break. Okay, we're in a horse barn, a little different than the last one you saw in our program. If you remember, about a year ago, we were at Sunny Hill Farms on Route 11, just outside of Champlain. We're at Shelburne Farms horse coach area, because this is where they kept their horses. And these are the paddocks for the horses, and you'll notice an all-brick floor down here. That's not going to wear out very quickly. And this is one of the stalls, and it slides. These are iron posts, and this is this has been used by a horse. It's probably 10 by 12, and that what you hear is not a horse. No matter what you've been told, that's not a horse. We're going to go see what that is, and very well kept. Wow, does that ever slide easy? I took it right off the track. It's slow. One break here. All right, now this is not a koala bear. This is a sort of rabbit, I take. Yes, it is. It's a very different rabbit. It's got earmuffs on or something. Hi, rabbit.
There's some sheep
And got small stalls in here. And there's some hay here. And we're looking over the top here. And we've got five sheep in here. Just watch on the corner here. And you get right this way here, Sam. Look through here. So far enough, there's little lambs. Hi. This is another, remember, this is an alternative type of farming. Sheep, we'll try and get Sam to look over the top here. Because of the farming has been decreasing, and they're talking to us. Yes, you want to say something into the mic here? You know that Harvey Smith out on the Southwick Road has sheep, and there are many others in the North Country now starting to raise sheep, and they sell the wool.
I think one of the reasons that the sheep never were brought in was that you had a kind of an educational thing going on here, where the children would be matching blocks from the start to the
Okay, yeah. Can you match from the blocks from the sheep to the scarf? Put them in the right order, and you got to start from where you have a sheep, and you're going to have to shear the sheep. I could pretty much do some of this, not all of it. Here's your. I'll just give you individually. There's the shearing of the sheep, and this is where you're making some yarn out of the wool. And we know this is the scarf, and the others are in between. And the kids are going to line these up here. And if they don't do it right, they have to put their foot in the pan here. They're going to put water in there. And Dorothy Holly says, does he really think people are going to believe that? And I say, no, I hope they don't. What kind of a rabbit is this? Do you know?
They're Angora.
Angora rabbits. All right. Hi there.
That you have to put your hand inside and
feel what's in there.
That's in there and guess what it is.
And if it bites, it means it's alive. You have to put your hand in there. Then before I put my hand, I'm going to. Oh, all right. That would be kind of interesting, I imagine, because by feel, first of all, I can't get in there, so I can't do it. But there's something in there, and that particular one had a red apple, an apple. And it's interesting if you close your eyes and try to, because our eyes tell us an awful lot, and thank God we have them, but feel tells an awful lot to a lot of the people who can't see as well.
And finding the apple might really lead into their next activity, where we have the apple press, and they bring the apples over here and then use the press to make
Okay,
apples.
they will put an apple in here, and then they turn this down, and that will squeeze the apple. And here's what it looks like inside, and they turn this here also, and I guess that takes, and you put a bucket underneath, of course, to catch, and that's the way you make applesauce. Now, apple cider.
Right.
Well, you can see I'm getting hungry. I'm talking about applesauce. And there's some more of the individual places that they had for the hay and whatever else they had along the way, where they'd get the horses maybe ready to put the harnesses on and so forth. And you're looking back out at the courtyard. The building that we were in, where they said that they let people use, is where those two windows are, right over there, over the top of the vehicle. That's the big room we were in, with the where we remember we had the radiators on the wall, and there's going to be a lot of people there tonight. That's that area, and the other section underneath the clock is where they're going to be. They're getting ready for something else later on. Oh, that's the sheep. But look at here. You got some little goats here. We got two in here, I guess. Two that I can see. Well, you got something in your craw there. They're quite animal, and people are raising goats. Now, we know that the Richard Caudell up on the road near Denimora and Mary Beth Deniski are raising goats. We know they're doing that, and they're using the milk and so forth. And it's up on the Rand Hill Road. And people are raising goats today. All these fine animals for the children to see here at Shelburne Farms. And we'll be going back in a second. Sam also said there were pigs in here, Sam? Bitten by these little piggies. Little piglets here. 3 or 4 in one of the horse stalls, and curled up tail. Clean animal, you know. People don't give pigs get a bad name because they're usually kept where it's dirty. You know, these pigs aren't dirty. They're very, very clean, and where they lay down is always very, very clean. They don't give them half a chance. Very intelligent animal. Right here. We're talking to Liz. And Liz tell us what you've just been doing today, Liz.
Well, we were testing, we were pressing down stuff, and we were taking samples of dirt and comparing it. and then we were writing it down, and then you had to press a can and fill up with water and see how long it took it to push down, and then if it was hard soil, it would take longer than soft soil.
Right.
And then you got to learn a lot.
All right, well, now tell me, way back in the beginning, you said we were pressing down stuff. What is stuff? What is that
They were
stuff?
pressing down the dirt.
The dirt,
and
the
then-
leaves, and all that
Yeah,
stuff?
and then it pushes the air pressure, so then the water can't get into the dirt.
Okay. All right, and you enjoy this?
Mhm.
Huh? You're going to go home and try it at home?
Mhm.
Teach your dad what kind of, at home you can find out what he needs for his soil, whether it's acid, more acid, what do you need? The different kinds of fertilizers, right?
Yep, and then you need to press it down.
Yeah, why is it
Well,
important?
so then you can keep the environment healthy,
Mm-hmm.
and you also can do compost,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can recycle everything, and it can be a nice world.
She's got her buddy behind her here. He's in the, we're having a play for a minute. Well, listen, thank you very much for talking. And you're from
I'm from Vermont. And
Underhill?
Yeah.
How do you
Underhill.
get, where's Underhill?
Well, Underhill is right next to Jericho.
Oh, well, if you know where Jericho, just go to Jericho and then there's a sign that says Underhill, right? Is that
Yeah.
near St. Albans?
No,
No.
that's like
Well, far from there?
that's north from
North
there.
from there. All right. Well, thank you very much for talking to us, and tell your mom and dad hello, and we hope you got nice soil at home.
Yep.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Right, bye. All right, let me just get this little thing. What's going on here? Huh? Just a second. I got to get these people here first. They're ready to go. So we get their name before they do this, all right? And your name?
Rachel.
Rachel who?
Humphrey.
Humphrey. Your name? Jade. I can read Jade. Tell me your last name. You don't talk to strange men. Oh, my God. Her mother said, don't talk to strange men, and I'm a man. Ashley.
Auger.
Auger.
Caitlin Quigley.
Caitlin. I have a lady across the street, little lady. Her name is Caitlin. That's not a very familiar name over to me before, but I like that name. Okay. And your last name?
Quigley.
Quigley. Okay.
Jessica Colborn.
All right, Jessica Coburn. And what are you going to do? Who's going to tell me what you're going to do here? You want to tell me what you're going to do? You don't want to talk.
We're going to do a poem.
A poem. Okay, we're going to have a poem. Underhill? Okay, come here. Get away from me. All right, we're going to do a poem.
You sent a message out of the blue and said you were in danger. It's soil you need to stay alive, so we became poor strangers. We took to the coniferous forest to find you a solution, and there we did our trusty experiments to solve your problem of pollution. Our soil we found is brown sand and great for planting. So send a little sample of this wonderful dirt to you. And hopefully with a little time and atmosphere changes, you'll create a nutritive world for you.
And I want you to know, I think I heard Jade say something during that as she was reading. Thank you very much, Jade. I heard your voice. Yes, I did. Thank you very much, girls. All right? Huh? You're welcome. You're going to be on TV over in New York State. Okay? Yes. Yes, say something. What do you want to say? Jeremy, he wants to talk all the time.
Let's go, Giants! Let's go!
Oh, all right. Let's go, Giants. Okay, we're at the Educational Center. And this looks like one of our teachers?
No, I'm just a mother.
You're just a mother? Well, mother, all right. Well, what do you mean, just a mother?
Just a mother's helper.
I thought mothers, just a mother. Do you know who this lady
This
is,
is
right?
my next door neighbor.
Oh, that's your next door neighbor. All right. Well, then, you volunteered to come over today, and your name is Mrs. Quigley.
Yes, I'm Caitlin's mom.
Well, all right. I thought that name sounded familiar. Yeah. Okay, is she always a good girl like this?
Always.
Always, huh?
Always.
Takes after her dad, huh?
No, her mother.
Oh, all right. All right. Well, do you do this often? Do you go out with this with the children?
As often as I can, yes.
You like to do that,
I
huh?
do.
Any other children like this at home?
I have a 7-year-old in second grade.
Oh, great. And what grade is this?
Fourth.
You're in the 4th grade. All right. And what's your teacher's name?
Miss Reinhardt.
Mr. Reinhardt? Is he here?
Miss
Miss
Reinhardt.
Reinhardt. She's here?
Yeah, she's
She's outside. All right. Well, listen, thank you very much for talking to us, and thank
Thanks.
Mom for talking to us, too.
Thanks
Okay,
a
have
lot.
a nice trip back to Underhill. Jade, have you decided to talk to me yet?
No!
All right. Well, listen, not yet. All right. We're at Shelburne Farms, and we'll be right back here. We're at the Educational Center. We've been talking with some of the students who came here today. We've also have been talking with Megan Camp, our host today, and Kate and Wallace Swears, and Dorothy Holly. She is the coordinator of tours.
We're going to head for the house.
We're looking at the side of the house that faces the barns. The way back that we came up on the approach, you could see this part of the building, but this is really the back of the house, the working part of the house. The kitchen and so forth are in the back of here, and as you see, there's 3 stories here. And then right over here to the left, go ahead, Sam, and get some pictures up there closely. Look at the intricate work on the chimneys here. They aren't just rectangular chimneys. They're what?
They are called the cluster chimneys.
Cluster chimneys.
That is one of the features of Robertson's design. Robert Robertson, who designed the building.
If you look at this, and over here, Sam, there's another one. Look at way over, that cluster over there.
And also in front of that cluster is a demi-lune window or an eyebrow window, half-moon window, whatever you wish to call it. That was another feature, and if you'll notice, the top of that window is very much like the road curve that you see down here.
Can you see that, Sam, that half window? That, what do you call that, an eye? Eyebrow. Okay. Okay. The reason we're trying to get some pictures out here, because this entrance right here was where the coaches and the people arrived. The guests arrived when they came to the home originally, came in and were let out of the carriages here, then went right into the main entrance. And that's what we're here to show you. And if you look out, this is the view they had of the Shelburne Farms, or at that time, what was it called back in 1890?
Shelburne Farms.
Shelburne Farms. It was called Shelburne Farms then. And as you look all around, you can... The highest point is straight ahead of you, Sam, and you can see right over where that car is moving on the gravel road. That's the highest point on the farm. That's even higher than here, huh? Out there?
And it's called Lone Tree Hill.
Lone Tree Hill. And there's certainly not a lone tree up there. There must be one that all by itself in the middle somewhere. No, we were talking with Leonard Patre when we were at the Gulf last week, and we were talking that at one time this lake was 800 feet above sea level. I mean, that was that much water back 12, 15,000. So we were standing underwater even on the top of that hill up there at 515 feet, right? All right. Anything else you want to tell me out here, Kate, before we go in, or Dorothy?
We're going to go around to the garden.
We're
Go by the south porch and into the garden.
Okay. Okay.
We have an open tour wagon. We have tours 5 times a day from the middle of May till the middle of October through foliage season. They're at 9:30, 11, 12:30, 2, and 3:30 every day of the week. And it's a really fun way to see the farm riding on that open wagon.
Okay, and then they'll stop at various places and explain,
Yes,
correct?
they stop at the dairy, they stop by the lake, then they'll be going up into the garden and then back to the farm barn.
Right. Now, Kate mentioned earlier about your fire hydrants. Now, can you tell me about the fire hydrants? There's one right in front of us here.
They're original to the property because the Webbs, of course, were very isolated here in Vermont, and they were concerned about fire safety. So they had hydrants put in. They had their own fire department that was located in the farm barn building. So all the water for the hydrants, for all the use of the farm, came from Lake Champlain, went to a reservoir up on Lone Tree Hill, and supplied all the needs of the farm.
Okay.
The wagon's getting closer.
Yes, you can see they're pulled by a truck. Has it ever been pulled by horses? Takes too long, huh?
No, and we'd need many teams of horses in order to be able to do that. So we use modern horses,
right.
Horsepower.
Okay, now this tour comes up and goes under here but doesn't stop. Is that right on this tour?
It will.
It will stop?
Get off and it will go into the garden.
Oh, they do go into the garden.
Yes.
All right. We're at Shelburne Farms, and our present guide here is Dorothy Holly. She's the tour coordinator. I've learned it. What am I looking at right here? This.
South porch.
All right.
And, most of the furniture that you see on the porches and in the house is original to the property. 90% of it is from the Webb's day. And of course this would have been one of their favorite places because you get a wonderful view of the Adirondacks and New York State, and they would have seen some wonderful sunsets.
All right, now when we talk about the Webb's time, I have read that Mr. Webb died in the 20s.
He died in 1926. Lila died in 1936.
All right, so she was 10 years, and she lived here till her death?
Yes, yes. And
And
the fields that you see around here, this was originally part of a golf course.
Yep.
They were avid golfers.
Oh, they had it
They
as
had
a
their
golf
own
course.
golf
All
course,
right.
right.
We were talking down below with Marshall Webb.
Yes.
We met him, had a chance to come up and talk with, and he said he lived here and brought up here, and
Yeah, and
great
this-
place to play hide and go seek inside the house.
Yeah, and summer they really had a good
Yep.
time.
And if you look down, you can see where we just came from. That's the Coach Barn Educational Center we just saw, sitting down in a beautiful setting. And this was didn't just place it this way, folks. It was planned many years ago. 1901, that's been built for 90 years. Round or something.
Okay.
Then he'd know where to point the camera because he's
Right.
following us. All right, we're on again.
This is this wing of the house is the original part of the house that was built in 1889. It was 2 stories originally. It was shingle style. It was very rustic looking. And then the Webbs decided to enlarge this house. So you can see that plaque at the end of the awning where it says 1899.
Yes, up on the wall. Yeah, like
Yes.
cement color. Yes.
They put that 1899 wing on, then they put on a servant's wing. They made it a Y-shaped building. Then this part was covered with brick and changed the look of the house into a Queen Anne Revival Tudor style house.
So you're saying that it wasn't brick originally?
No, it was originally shingle, had an entirely different look to it. It was very low slung.
Mm-hmm. Is it tough to get these roofs fixed today with slate like that?
We did find the craftsman that we needed when we first started to restore it, because there had been damage to some of the bedrooms, and we had that type of workman come in and fix the roofs and then fix the moldings that were in the house and do all the repainting. And a great many of the wallpaper patterns were copied by old Deerfield, a company in New Jersey.
Can you give me an approximation of when you started to restore, you mentioned?
Well, this is the 5th season that it's been open. So
that recent.
Yeah,
oh,
yes.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
There's our tour over here to our left that just got off the open wagon. They're going down and see the gardens. They don't get to go into the house proper. We will, because we're on a special tour, and we're with the #1 tour coordinator right here on my left, and we feel great to be here.
But I can invite you in, everyone that watches your program, on Mother's Day.
All right.
Mother's Day
Tell them
weekend
about that.
every
That's
year.
next year now.
Yes, Mother's Day weekend on that Saturday and Sunday. We have house tours before the house opens for guests.
All right, put that on your calendar. We'll try to run this again next year, but in case we don't, and what do they do then? How will they just can't come over here?
No, they call ahead. They can order tickets, reserve tickets, and it's by time. It could be 11 o'clock or 2 o'clock, whatever fits into your schedule the best, and then they come over and they get to see all 3 floors of the house.
Okay, and about how long of a tour is that?
About an hour.
About an hour, okay.
It's a really good tour.
Okay, that's
And
Mother's Day. Take your wife. Bring your mother over.
And that's one of the big fundraisers for our education department. So
Okay.
you're doing good things.
All right, so what does it cost them to tour like that? What will that be cost next year?
It's probably in the area of $6.
About $6 to come over here and see this great. It's history here. I don't know if you can see this from I guess if you were in Essex, you could see it, right?
Yes,
Across here. But it's a landmark here. It's been here for 100 years. And it's the way people used to live back in then. If you had money, this is the way you lived. And also the big camps that we have out on up in the mountains, or the Adirondack, the camps. Those are things of the past. You can't afford to keep them anymore. And an individual person with this today would be very difficult to do. It's a nonprofit. It's been turned over to the what's the organization called today? Shelburne.
Shelburne Farms, and our education programs. It's the Stewardship Institute, and we've been able to preserve the old buildings. We're fortunate in doing that, but use them in an up-to-date way so that we have the income from the house and also from our cheese making.
All right. Now, with the these tours, the educational center down there, does the state or the federal give you any kind of grants
No.
to help? No, don't get anything at all.
No,
huh?
but the schools pay a small amount, of course, for the children to come.
They do.
But of course, that certainly isn't enough to cover the
course
program.
not.
So that's one of the reasons that we run the tours
Okay.
for the public, and also have the coach groups come here. And then we have the fundraising for the house tours.
And you only have that one day, Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday.
And the only
yes.
time you can get into the house for all the tours.
Right.
And that's Saturday and Sunday, Mother's Day, and the day before.
Except I've had a good idea. You also, if you're not staying at the house, you could come for breakfast or dinner by reservation. And that's
You
one way
can.
to see
Okay,
the
all right.
first floor of the house.
All right.
You come for
And you're going to
breakfast.
see when we get inside, and it's going to make you want to come here and have that breakfast. Maybe tomorrow even. Let me see if I can. All right. Let me see if we can. Out in the water. You see you can see with your big lens there, Sam, on the water. Just sitting out there in the water. Now,
There's our head gardener, Roland,
which one?
with the striped shirt. That's
Okay,
Roland,
the
our
greenish with
gardener.
the striped shirt.
Yeah.
That's Roland. He's your head
Yeah,
gardener.
He's a master gardener from Wiesbaden, Germany.
All right. Now there came a time, I guess, when Mrs. Webb wanted to. She liked gardening,
Yes.
right? And so she decided she wanted, and then she had these gardens built by someone who knew what they were doing.
Well, she really basically drew up the plans because she was influenced by Gertrude Jekyll, a famous English gardener, and decided that her family garden would be an English border garden or a cottage garden with touches of an Italianate garden with the statues that she got from her trips to Italy.
Okay. Now when we talk about gardens in this level, we're not talking about potatoes and corn,
No,
and we're
no,
talking about
flower
a
garden.
flower garden like
Right.
they have in Europe.
Yes.
And this is flower garden. We don't always say flower garden, but that's what it was.
Yes.
And the statues, and it goes down here 2 or 3 levels,
Yeah.
I understand, right?
And then there's a pond down on the lower level.
All right, and you see the people here from the one of the tours looking down, and now there's nothing over here. At one time,
This was originally a rose garden.
in
Many
this
many
area.
rows of roses. She had over 400 rose bushes in this area.
That one red one.
Right.
Well, now why would that be?
I don't know.
Oh,
I
that'd be
really
a
don't
reason,
know.
probably, right?
She had yellow, pink, and
All right.
no red.
I
And,
preferred the paler colors.
Okay. And you see that there's nothing symmetric about it. This is closed. This is open, and so that it's not made to look symmetrical. It's made to look as natural as possible in what she designed. And the wall, is there a particular reason for that wall being there? Separate
By
over?
that wall, in front of the wall, was something that looked like a large arbor. It was called a pergola, and there was a reflecting pond there, so that would have been a cool place to be in the summertime with benches there.
Well, you must get a nice breeze here from that west wind coming across here, for certainly, huh?
Now, one thing that we are doing that's very new is that one of the board members told me that they've drawn up the plans to bring back a rose garden in this area, and they'll be starting to lay that out this fall, so that's something new and exciting for us to look forward to.
Mm-hmm. And this is probably a popular spot for the tour to see
Oh,
the
yes.
garden.
They
'cause,
love to see the
This
gardens.
is there was part of her living room, actually. It was just
Right.
an extension to
Yes.
her living room.
yes, I remember she used to use a window that did she write some or something? I think I came by a
Yes.
tour that she had an open
Right.
window there, and
That picture
that
window,
picture window.
that's in the
She had a-
library where her garden
yes,
she
and
her
she had garden books, and
Yes.
exactly, I remember
Right.
that when I came.
Mm-hmm.
The area that I mentioned below
Yeah.
that was beaten by the waves or pummeled by the waves and the winds is beyond that, below near the goldfish pond.
Okay.
It's that balustrade that just slipped right into the...
Right. How many children did Mrs.
She had 4.
There were 4.
One daughter and 3 sons. And her daughter was Frederica Vanderbilt Webb, and she was married in the Episcopal Church in Shelburne, then had her wedding reception here at the house, and she married Ralph Pulitzer, the Pulitzer Prize family.
Oh, yes. All right. Well, you know, in Champlain, we have a customs officer who's related to the Pulitzer family.
Really?
Yes,
Oh.
and he lives in Osceola Forks right now, but he came up from New Jersey. Yeah, I'll have to mention to you what he can tell me about that too. And we're
Right.
talking about. I'll be talking to you. He probably won't see this, but if we do, we'll be talking with you, Spike, about this.
Did you want to go down there?
I don't know. Did you wish to?
Yes, yeah, we look and see what's down below here. Sure. Now there's another while we're here. Another
The North Fork.
North Porch right there.
Well, something that happens here on the lawn in the summertime is when we have our concerts. We start on the 4th of July with the Vermont Symphony. The musicians are on that south porch. You bring a picnic. You sit on this lawn, and it's a wonderful way to spend a summer evening.
How many people do you get in something like that?
Oh, thousands.
You do get thousands?
Yes, yeah, and they end the evening with the 1812 overture.
The one in the dark hair, he's the president, the older brother.
Oh, that's okay. That's the other brother. Okay.
Mm.
Okay. The gentleman who's running, what's his first name?
Alec.
It's Alec Webb. He's picking up the briefcase there. He is the president of the. We didn't get him when he went by. He got by before we saw him, and we don't feel we should run up there and he's with somebody. And he's the president of the Shelburne Farms, and he's the brother of Marshall that we met earlier.
You want to speak to the gardener?
Yeah, we'd love to.
Roland, would you have a minute? There's probably the floral.
We're going to talk to Roland, the head gardener here at Shelburne.
This is Roland.
Roland, I'm Bob Venn. How do you do? Hometown Cable in Champlain, the northern part of Clinton County. And they tell me you're what's your last name, Roland?
Dubelier?
Dubelier. And you're from Germany, I was told?
Yes, I am.
You came all the way over here for this
Yeah,
job?
that's exactly it. This view, you can't pay for it.
Where did you find the ad to come over here for this job?
Oh, well, I've been working here since '84. I've been coming back and forth.
Mhm.
So.
You stay here all year? Or do you go back to Germany in the winter?
In the winter, I go back for 3 months, right? And then I always come back for the gardens.
Yes, so now what have you done with the garden since you've been here? I mean, have you replanted? Have you redesigned at all or anything like
design
that?
has been there, and what we did do in the last few years since I have been here is restored some of the walls and also opened up views. Like, you couldn't see through that wall. You couldn't see the wall.
Over there? Okay.
Where they're like big cedars like that. So we opened that up. And
All right.
Same over there on that wall.
How many people do you have working with you?
Well, right now I'm working alone.
You're all by yourself, huh?
Yeah, but in the midst of summer, I have a part-time mower and a part-time.
Do you cut the
garden.
grass too? That's part of your job?
That part.
Just this part? No.
You can see the difference.
The nice part, the putting green right here, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
yeah.
a great putting
Tee
green.
off into the lake. Yeah.
Now, this is a 7-day-a-week job or five,
5
6?
day a week. Yeah.
5 day a week,
Yeah.
and you live here. There's facilities here.
There are facilities here for the managers. I moved away because this is a great place to live, but it also you have to separate work time and
Yes.
living time.
Okay.
so
True. You'll always
I
be
come
available.
here and I love it, and
Okay.
I go home again.
Yeah. Now, do you lie awake at night and think what you're going to do? Do you visualize this at night when you're sleeping? You must.
It's sometimes true. I come here. I love to come here at night, sneak in and look around and say, what is my next plan?
Mhm,
That's very
mhm.
true, yeah.
Now,
When I go to bed, I go to bed.
you go to bed. Dorothy mentioned that there may be roses here again. Have you?
Yeah, right.
You're in any kind of planning stage on that in this area?
Birgit Deeds, who is our garden designer, she's the one who's designing the rose garden.
Okay, she designs it and you do it.
Exactly, yeah. They give me the plans and I try to.
Right.
I try to.
Is this your green thumb you're trying to keep warm over the top of the coffee? You have to have a green thumb.
The thing is, the green thumb, I dip in there sometimes and then I.
Then you go right and you do it just right, huh?
Yeah, I hope so. Well, right now they're hurting a little bit.
Okay.
The winter's been, the summer's been very hot.
Okay. Is there anything you want to tell me about your garden that I'm not smart enough to ask you
Can't
questions?
you see it?
Well, I can
It's
see it, but
beautiful,
yeah, but
isn't
you
it?
see,
Yeah.
I'm sure I don't see what you see. You
Oh,
can see,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you're looking at it completely different
Yeah.
than I am. I'm looking at it as pretty, beauty, but I don't see a flower out of area. I don't see the little things that you say. You know, you say, oh, there's a little dead thing I ought to go take off there. See, I don't see
Well,
that.
I wouldn't dare to tell you that, you know that?
You wouldn't dare tell me that, huh?
No.
All
'Cause
right.
then you might see what kind of a bad job I'm
Oh,
doing.
get out. All right, we're talking with the
Okay.
chief gardener, right? And your last
Thank
name
you.
again?
Dubelier.
Dubelier. Okay, and he's from Germany. And does that make you an excellent gardener? You get a lot of experience. Where'd you get your experience in Germany?
In Germany, they have an apprenticeship system.
How-
And so I did that for 8 years and then...
8
went to-
years
Yep,
working with
yeah.
somebody else.
Yep.
When you
Yeah,
go back for
working
3
with-
months, do you work as gardening over
No,
there?
I relax.
Oh, that's a pretty nice vacation time, 3 months,
That's a
huh?
great thing about a gardener, being a gardener, is you work hard for 7, 8 months, and then you have 4 months where you can
Are you
relax.
telling me you don't start at 8 and quit at 5?
Well, sometimes.
Sometimes you do, but sometimes you don't.
Most
You
of
do
the
when you
time
have
I
to.
do more, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. We're at Shelburne Farms. We're looking at the gardens, and if you like them, thank this gentleman right here. If you see him running around, he got a green thumb on the right hand.
Coffee, always a coffee cup.
Always a coffee cup in his hand. All right. Thanks much.
Thank you. So, where do you? What is?
We're on, and we're talking with
Birgit.
Birgit, and what is your job here, Birgit? You are.
Well, I'm involved in the restoration of the gardens and designing the restoration, and our objective is to try to get things blooming through September, all different times during the summer, and also stay within the framework of the original gardens that Vanderbilt.
Now this was here originally too. This pool.
The pool was here. However, there were cracks in the bottom, so what we did was have it restored. It was about 5 years ago, and now, so we put the lilies back in. The lilies are kept in these wooden tubs, and during the winter we take the tubs out and we store them over in the farm barn. The lilies stay in the tubs, and then the fish, they winter over in my pond at home, and then we take them out, bring them back over here in the spring.
All right, why would you bring them to your pond and not leave them right here? Is that
because
different?
we take the water out.
Oh,
here.
that's a good reason. Then it won't crack it again, right?
Yes,
They couldn't live without the water, could they? They don't do very well.
They don't do too well.
All right, well, what have I got here? This is a way to collect money right here. Look at this.
Yeah, well, it's like the
the wishing well.
That's right.
And instead of throwing it out and you have to go dig it out, I got it right here in one spot.
Here.
The goldfish in there?
Yes. I think there are about
Oh, I see two more here.
15 or 18 fish, and they've reproduced.
Uh-huh.
So then at the end of October, we drain the pond, and the fish we take out, and then in the spring, we bring the fish back.
Okay.
Roland comes and gets them out of our pond, and we bring them back here, and the lilies we just put back in the tubs.
You, if Sam is taking a look at me here, are you in this direction here, Sam?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see that lady sitting right there? Is that what Mrs. Webb used to do, you think? Came and sat next
Probably.
to her pool? Now, don't move, Kate. My God, I want to show what it looks like to be sitting near a pool. Oh, she moved. She's off the reflecting pool. Well, you got to get over here. I'm going to get my reflection. Oh, yeah. The water is moving, and I look like I'm shaking. Now, we noticed it's part of the wall gone.
Well, that balustrade, as you can see, fell from the erosion.
Okay.
The erosion didn't occur from that side. The erosion occurred from water that drained down through here.
That's what you were telling me, Kate? All right, and that's...
and eventually we're going to try to... What we'd like to do is replace, not the cement balustrade, but
what ahead of it, yes.
In front of there, and make it look a little more historical.
Okay.
But that takes some funding, so...
Yes, it takes money. It takes money, huh? So you are here working full-time?
No, not
Summer?
full-time. I come... I'm not here in August. We're away during August, but I come about 9 hours during the week and work with Roland, and I work together.
Are you an employee or are you a volunteer?
No, I'm a volunteer.
You're a volunteer?
I'm on the board, and then I've been involved in the...
Okay, I got a front lawn. I need some garden design. So when you're not here, could you run over to Champlain, New York? And
Sure.
Oh, sure you could. All right. All right. You can come over and see Wallace. Listen, after you work for me, you can go over and eat with Kate and Wallace. They live over there too. See?
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. We're at the reflecting pool in the gardens.
Lily Pond.
Lily Pond, and this is the garden of Lila
Osgood, Vanderbilt Webb, and Dr. William Seward Webb. And if you're ready, Marnie's waiting.
We're ready to go inside, and they're waiting for us. We're on our way in. Thanks. Look at this. You still do, yes. Is this Lila by any chance?
That is.
All right. The tea room here, and this is Mrs. Webb. Excuse me for calling you Lila, but it's Mrs. Lila Vanderbilt Webb, 1859 to 1936. 77 years old. And another picture of Mrs. Webb. And this is Mr. Vanderbilt. That must be her father?
That was her father. Yes.
All right. Mrs. Webb's father, who was that was a railroad man, right? Yes. That was the railroad man. And can I assume that this over here is
Mr. Webb.
Mr. Webb here?
Mr. Webb, the father of the man who...
Oh, this is... Okay, this is not Dr. Webb. No. This is his father.
We'll see him in the dining room.
Okay, 1802, 1884. You're talking... This is... Okay, they had 3 sons and 1 daughter, I think you told me. And this is the daughter. And then the reception was here after they got married, you said. And 1882 to 1949. We're talking 100 years ago, folks, when we're looking at this beautiful home. And just went on and on. Furniture and, again, open space. How many, any idea how many servants they had in a home like this? Obviously. How many?
35.
They had 35 servants back when they were living here.
Yes.
All right.
This is where we have the bar, the cocktail bar at night. It opens at 5 o'clock. And so guests who are coming here for dinner and also guests who are staying here have access to this.
Right. Are there many guests who come for dinner who don't stay here?
Yes.
From the
for
Burlington
dinner
and
and
so forth?
breakfast from the people who are staying here in other hotels,
All right.
just visiting, or also local people who live in the area.
Need a reservation?
Yes, you do.
Call ahead, all right, if you want to come here. All right. Now this is nothing to do with here. Nothing to do.
When they had the original house, they had thought about enlarging the home, building it on Lone Tree Hill, and so these were architectural drawings that they had done, but they didn't do that type of house. Instead, they enlarged the way I told you with the 2 wings.
Now, did I hear, or did I read somewhere from a book I had, that this house was moved at one time?
Part of it, the part behind the garden where I told you that was the part that was the way it was original, that shingle style. They moved that, took it off the main part of the house, moved it over there, turned it into the squash court and the laundry.
All right.
This wing on.
Yes, the wing that we're in now was the addition.
But the other one was here before?
Yes.
Right here.
Well, it was an addition. Yeah. It was another wing.
Okay, another wing, then they moved that and put a brand new wing on.
Right.
All right, and this is the main hall. We're in the new addition now?
Yes.
This is the dining room.
Okay, and this is the...
Again, drawings of a house, the proposed house that they might have built up on Lone Tree Hill, but
Never did. Now, Lone Tree Hill was the highest point we were talking about across here. Right. And they were really considering to build there?
Building there, right.
Before they made the addition here?
Yes.
Okay. And this is another possibility, which didn't come out that way at all.
No.
All right.
They're all entirely different.
Okay. And now we're coming into the grand dining room.
This is called the marble room.
The marble room. We can see why here. The marble room and very, very white. It says the marble room, sponsored by some people in memory of the Vanderbilt Webbs. And this is another reason why it can be called the marble room. Look at this shelf we have over here, a table built on. And this is Dr. William Seward Webb right here, who was the man of the house here. And when you mentioned 4 names for Mrs. Webb, you mentioned somebody did? Lila?
Vanderbilt.
Osgood? Was that her middle name, or was she married before?
No,
No, that might have been her.
Osgood Vanderbilt.
Okay, so that might have been her mother's maiden name or something. Okay, all right. And is this one of the daughter being?
That's Lila also.
That's Lila over there. So you can.
This was the original dining room, and of course at that time it wasn't set up this way. It had one long, large table, and now that we use it, more as a restaurant, it has lots of smaller tables to accommodate our guests.
But it always was the original dining room, and it's still used that way. We serve breakfast and dinner here.
Like, say for dinner tonight, would you fill the room?
Yes.
You will, huh?
Oh, yes.
Would be filled.
Yeah. We have two seatings.
Oh,
The first
two
one-
different. Oh.
The first one we start at 6, and then the second one we start seating for at 8.
Okay. Is one night of the week better than the other? Is Friday night a big night?
The weekends are very busy,
Right.
but actually during the summer months, July and August, it's busy very busy almost every night, and then during the foliage season, it's also very busy.
I imagine, yes. Now, you mentioned, I think, Dorothy, that some of the wallpaper was reproduced by a company in New Jersey.
Yes.
You told me that?
Old Deerfield.
Old Deerfield, and this probably is some of it right
No,
here?
This is the
Original paper?
Fabric. It's actually fabric.
Fabric.
Silk. Silk damask, and it's original. We basically did very little to this room.
So there are no overhead lights at all? Oh, there is one here,
Well,
That's a
that's-
couple only.
Those
Other-
are only for fire safety.
Oh, all right. So other than that, it's candlelight
And
the
walls,
side, on the
lights
side,
all
yes.
around the side.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell me about this room that I...
Go to the game room.
Okay. Game room? Oh, I remember the game room. I remember the game room. Wow, look at this. Isn't that great? Oh, yeah. This is where the playroom was up there, too. Oh, yes. Isn't this something else? You're still on? Okay, we're still on with the camera. Okay, we're still going here. We're seeing a still picture. This is the game room. Tell me about the game room.
Well, this is where when the family was here, they'd go for cigars and brandy after dinner. And now guests use the original pool table, and guests use it any time of the day. But also often after dinner, they'll come out here and have dessert and coffee and after dinner drinks.
Look at this very old and lovely pool table. Of course, the pool table has become before it used to be you don't go out with anybody who goes to the pool halls. Years ago it was a bad reputation in pool halls, but today everyone's doing it. And it has become a great, I guess we call it sport time. We call it a sport. I guess we can, pastime. We can call it that, and a game. But now here are these some of the trophies that Dr. Webb got? Do you know?
Yes,
Did he
they
make?
are.
He made his trips across. And you'll notice all of the intricate. It's kind of dark in here, but look at this fireplace in here with the seating all around. Pay attention to that. The floor also, that's I guess is bolted. Are those bolts that go down through here?
They're, I think, mostly for they're not real.
All right, not real. Okay. And then again, even above the door, you got, and then the very, very dark wood in here makes it even more no reflection. Pardon? Oh, he's very masculine, is for sure. And look at the size of these chairs when you play cards. And also this I'll give you an idea of the size of this chair. Most chairs don't fit me very well, but look at this. You can sit with me in this one here. And all carved, a great piece of furniture in a game room such as this. There's puzzles over here, I guess, and games they can play. And is it used a lot during the day, Marnie?
It is actually used quite a bit. People come out here and play cards. And it depends on the weather. On a rainy day or more so in the fall when it's not as nice to be down on the beach or outside.
Well, without, I don't mean to be nosy in this question, but your clientele that comes here, are they younger, middle-aged, or would you say more senior who would come?
We have a real range. It's not, there are a lot of all kinds of people. It doesn't tend to be one way or the other, really.
Do you think it's people
It's
coming
a
in,
little of both.
coming into the area for the first time, or people who are coming back to Vermont and like Vermont? And
Well, Shelburne House itself has a lot of repeat guests who come every year, sometimes twice a year, and it have been coming since we opened. But I think that it's, I think again it's a mixture. It's some people who've never been to Vermont before. They've heard about it or never been to New England, and we have people coming from all over the country.
Anybody coming here on their honeymoon?
Lots of honeymoons.
Is that right? Yes.
Lots of funny.
You don't have the heart-shaped tubs and all of that, do you?
No, we don't have that.
It's got nice, plain,
Quite a
beautiful area.
romantic spot.
All right, so I can imagine it is, yeah. Sit by the garden there and everything else. Yes, very much. Anything else here? Where, as you are down below, you can see the gardens are just out here. If we can see, we're at the north end, right next to the north porch, which is just off behind that fireplace to our right. And I guess we've seen all the downstairs just about, have we? And you've seen the... Oh, is there a room we can see upstairs? Oh, you're going to say, I'll just say... Okay. Yes.
Not for the TV. Look at this chair.
We're looking at the stairway. Sam has gone up about the 5 steps, and I'm going up now and heading into the south. And then we're going to turn toward the lake right here. You can see the big banister, and there's a big area here, nearly 3 feet on this side, as a rail type thing. And we're going to show you just the hallway upstairs. And okay, yes, we're going to go look at a room. Is this Dr. This? Yes. All right. That we're going to be going into. Yes, this is a guest room now. This is a room that people can stay, and certain rooms are different price than others. But this was his bed. Right. And this is Dr. Webb here. Yes. That's Dr. Webb here, and Mrs. Webb and Dr. Webb had this separate rooms. Each had their own room, and
Wonderful view.
Yes, got all the view. He got 3 big windows. Probably, I guess, the nicest room in the building. This or her room is pretty nice too. Her room is very, very nice also. And this is just what do we call this? A lounge, just to sit down or lay down. And that's the big bed. And all right, now this might be new paper in here.
Yes, but this was copied from
the old one.
Right.
Yep.
And then the staircase in the Webb's day went up to his servant's room for Dr. Webb, but now it's another room at the end.
Okay, very narrow stairway going up to the servant's room.
So then we can go on to Mrs. Webb's room.
Okay, that's here on the corner, just outside and around. That's a very masculine room. We're going to see a very feminine room now. Very, very feminine and very beautiful. So I take back what I said. It might be the best room. This has got to be. I guess I would say that there's equally beautiful in there. This is kind of different for if you haven't been in this kind of a home before. You didn't have closets very much at that time, and this was your closet, right? May I open this? This was your closet that you had because they didn't have them built in. And many old homes you buy today, ever in New York State or anywhere else, don't have a built-in closet. And you have to either have one of these or have one built out into a corner. And she had a view of her gardens here, and she's got 4 windows here, and leaded glass in 2 of them, half a canopied bed or a third, and a very, very nice desk. Although it's large and heavy, it's very feminine. Very feminine. And is this Mrs. Webb with 2 of the children? All right. This obviously is Frederica. And James Watson. All right. And this is Mrs. Webb, probably taking... and probably back in before the turn of the century. A very nice picture here in the room. Also, the only thing that doesn't look here today is our more modern phone, and that we have to have one of those. There's another closet that you have type of for your furniture. And I've got some lady waiting to get back out here and finish cleaning the room. She's hiding behind the door here. This is the bath, the bath, the private bath here. And we're not catching someone in the bathroom. She's waiting for we can get out here. All right. Thank you very much. And looking down the hallway, just a quick view down the hallway, you can see the red carpet and the same beautiful silk. This is the same kind of paper or linen that was in the dining room. A little bit different. Same type of a thing. And all beautifully done and beautifully kept, and certainly a historic, and it is a historic building, right? It's on the historic record. And
all the buildings are on the National Register of Historic
Buildings. All right. And then you see here's what...
permission for certain things that they did with the house.
Mm-hmm.
To go along and do it.
Now this is, again, I don't know, these windows will open here. This is a little ledge here, and this is our, going back down the stairway. Beautiful, and it's a settee here. A little place you can sit here, a little seat right here, just around the corner. Just if you sit here waiting for somebody, I guess. And maybe you go up 5 steps and take a rest. We're at Shelburne House at Shelburne Farms, and we'll take a short break and be right back to you. Please don't go away. We'll be seeing a few more things here at the beautiful and historic Shelburne Farms. Before we go out, I want to show you this a door, which is pretty near. Look at this, all beveled glass. This is nearly 4 feet wide on this great big wide door here that goes out under the canopy where the coaches used to come. And this was the entrance to the Shelburne House, and it was directly underneath the staircase where we just went upstairs. About the brown Swiss cows that are the only animals they raise here at this farm, and they're all calves that have been raised here. It's their own, and they're very well maintained, and that's all their cheese is made with their own milk, and that's what a brown Swiss looks like for you people who are used to the Ashires and the Holsteins and the Jerseys and the Guernseys. That's a brown Swiss. Very gives a lot of production. And it also has very good tests, I understand. Buster around here, do you know, the farm manager?
Right now he's out.
He must be out spreading manure. Well, he's out fertilizing. That's what we're talking about. And you can see the lake in the background, and we're looking west, and that's New York State over there behind us, folks. And we're at the farm again. That's the farm manager's house, and we came back, and we missed him again. So we'll continue on to someplace else. We wanted you to see the cows before we left, and we'd like to tell you that we just talked to Marshall Webb again, and he's going to get back to his tractor. He's patched the pipe in a hole we saw him digging, and he thinks he's got it. Going to turn the water on and give it the supreme test, and then he'll find out for sure. I guess they've got a loafing barn. I think this is a loafing barn.
A pole barn, P-O-L-E.
Yes, and it's open style, yes.
It doesn't have any stanchions.
Right.
So the cows come in here, they eat hay, and then that hay slows up the absorption of the grain that they get before they go into the milking parlor.
All right, that's something that I read that I didn't know about. That and I was raised on a farm. You don't feed the grain to your cows until they've had some hay, because the grain is absorbed into the body too quick, and it won't be absorbed as fast if there's hay in the one of the 2 or 3 stomachs that a cow has. 4, all right? He just got another one here. I missed along the way. And because then they do this each time. Do they feeding hay first, right?
Yes, they eat it in here along that
trough
there. And then there are these 2 double doors go into the milking parlor.
Okay, could we see the milking parlor? Because that's the kind of milking parlor they mention a herringbone, and I don't know what they mean by that. We're going to look at a herringbone. There's the cart going by again with the open, and there's not many people. They got it all by themselves right now. They call it a herringbone. I don't know why, but this is very similar to the one we saw at the Castine Ridgeview Farm that we're familiar with, and then they feed their grain here while they're being milked.
Right, and through this chute they get a measured amount of grain, and on their back flank they'll have a chalk mark. It might be orange or yellow or red or green, indicating how much grain that they'll get while they're being milked.
Okay, so it's very precise what they're doing. Now, you see, the Ridgeview Farm, which milks 24 at a time, used to feed in their old one with 20. They milked 400 cows. They used to feed the grain. They found that if they fed the grain, that the cow was relaxing and made much more dirt here than if they didn't feed them. And they gave their milk quicker, because when they leave here, they're going to get their grain, so they're in a hurry to get the milk down. It's another concept, that's all, you know. Another way. Now this, you'll notice, is where all the water, this is all washed down with with the hose that you can see here, and it's all sprayed down, very, very clean. And this is where the water runs here on the sides, and down below it goes off. And when you, maybe I can go down here just a minute and show you that this is your milking machine. It looks like it might be a De Laval. I'm not sure. And then this goes underneath here. The milk comes down. Where does the milk go?
It goes into the hoses.
Oh, down into here. Okay, into this pipe here.
Into a holding tank.
All right.
It takes one morning and one afternoon.
This is a
milk.
surge unit. Those are not surge milking machines. Is that a surge? That's not a surge there. This is a surge.
And then it goes into a big tank at the
Inside
end.
where they keep it there.
Right.
And
it
then,
takes a
do you
morning-
sell some milk?
Yes, we do. The days that we don't make cheese, we sell it to the International Cheese Company in Heinsberg, Vermont.
Okay. Are you very familiar with the cheese making?
Yes, I am.
I read somewhere just recently, something that Wallace gave me to look at as far as cheese is concerned, that out of 4,000 pounds of milk, you get about 400 pounds of cheese. About
right.
1 for 10?
Yes, 10%. Yeah,
10%,
right.
give or take. All right. And
We can look into cheese.
you make just the one kind of cheese?
We make Shelburne farmhouse cheddar. Now,
Okay.
calling your cheese a farmhouse is a special designation. You can only do that with a cheese that's made on the farm with the milk of your herd.
All right.
Now, this is our cheese making room. We don't make cheese every day, and this is a water-lined vat, and they fill that early in the morning with 4,000 pounds of milk, and at the end of the day, they'll have 400 pounds of Shelburne Farms farmhouse cheddar. They heat it up to about 80 degrees. They add a starter culture to it. That culture turns lactose into lactic acid, and you can see by the pictures we also show, so people have an idea what's happening here in the room. And this is what you do in the beginning. You add that.
Right over here. Can you get it back there, Sam, over to your side here?
You add the starter culture, and you keep stirring it, and that lactose turns lactose into lactic acid, and then you add after the starter culture, that lactose starts getting it into a custard-like consistency, and the way you would with a pudding, and then you cut it horizontally and vertically. And we all know about curds and whey. The curds are the solid, and the whey is the liquid. They stir it, and then the curds settle to the bottom, and the whey drains out. Now, cheddaring, people often ask, what is cheddaring? Well, cheddaring is when you stack it, turn it, let it rest. You stack it, turn it, let it rest. It takes several hours to do these steps, and you're checking the acidity with the acidometer. When it's about 9 high and the right level of acidity, you feed it into the milling machine, which is the only mechanical part, that machine against the back wall, which cuts it up into cubes. And then you put a salt, a very coarse salt on it that stops 90% of the lactic acid action. And then you pack it into these boxes that you see over to your left that are called hoops. You pack about 42 pounds of curds into a disposable cheesecloth, put it into this water-driven press, and it presses out the last bit of whey, leaving a solid 40-pound block. The blocks stay on the press overnight, and the next morning they'll go down to the large farm barn building where they're put into a walk-in cooler, and it's aged for 6 months for a medium, a year for a sharp, over 2 years for an extra sharp.
How many pounds of cheese do you store in the barn like that?
We have about 100,000 pounds in storage. We make about 70,000 pounds a year. And last summer we sent a block of our cheese to New York City to the American Cheese Society, which is the largest cheese competition. And our cheese was chosen as the best cheddar cheese, and at the end of the show it was the best cheese in the United States. So we're very proud of that accomplishment.
And this is the way it's done, right?
Yes,
right
it
here.
is, right here.
At Shelburne Farm with their own milk.
Right.
All right, now this is a hoop. This is filling a hoop. The hoop, I guess, is not really round. It's,
No, ours
it's rectangular,
are,
right?
yes,
And it's about 42 pounds.
Yes, and then it ends up with 40 pounds after all the rest of the whey is drained out of it, been pressed out.
You ship any of your cheese out of the
Yes,
country?
we do. Well, not of the, well, we sent it. We could send it to Canada, but we do ship it all across the United States, UPS. And then we have a catalog. We have quite a big mailing, particularly during the holiday season.
Who are you shipping it to if they don't come by catalog? Is it only by order you shipping this by catalog?
Well, we send it to other stores. We have Bloomingdale's, Balducci's, the Barefoot Contessa, a lot of local supermarkets, IGA.
Those unknown stores you were talking about there, huh?
Yes.
Okay, and this is pressing it with hydraulic press. Now, you mentioned water line. Does that mean that this 2 inches around is all filled with water?
Yes, and it's heated up. Mm-hmm.
And that's how it's heated, all right.
Yes, that's how the milk is heated.
How many times you do this a day? Just one time?
Just once a day.
So you
'cause
put
it takes the
4,000
entire
gallons.
day, right.
4,000 gallons
Right.
in there.
Mhm.
4,000 pounds. Excuse
4,000
me.
pounds, and you'll
Which
end
is
up
2,000
with,
gallons.
right, and then you'll end up with 400 pounds of cheese.
Okay.
Yeah, at the end of the day.
It's not 4,000. It's 2 pounds.
It's 8.6
8
pounds.
point. Yeah. Right. It's 2 pounds.
I didn't want to get into all that
Oh,
math.
well,
and you
you-
do, and you figure it
We
out.
when we were raised on a farm, and a milk can was 80 pounds and was 40 quarts, give or take a little bit or so forth. Well, how many people do you have working in this room?
Usually just one
Is
person.
this
does
the man
whole
right here
process.
that knows all about
No,
it right
no.
there?
Oh, that's Bill Cleff. He's our head cheese
Okay.
maker, and he's the one that has trained all these people to be cheese. We have a couple of women
Okay.
that have been.
Can I
taught
assume then that all those ribbons are not for because you got horses, because you got cheese?
These are because of the cows.
Oh, these are your cow ribbons. All right, now this is at the Champlain Valley that just
Yes.
took place in the past 2-3 weeks. All right.
Now we have 146 cows in the herd, and they're milking 57. And we do have a world prize-winning cow milk production.
Tell us
Jill,
about that. I heard about it
uh,
informally here.
And she's 16 years of age, and she's produced over
16.
16 years of age. She's just right in with the rest of the girls. She doesn't get any special treatment, and she's produced over 300,000 pounds of milk. And she's still producing, so I can't give you an end figure on that.
Yep.
We're very proud of that accomplishment. We're having a cow party.
What's a cow party?
I've never been to one, but I'm going on the 21st, so I'll have to let you know. It should be
If
fun.
you pardon the expression, we got some heifers over in New York State, but now this is where all your heating for the cheese, right? And or for warm water
yeah,
for whatever
right,
reason.
uh-huh.
You don't heat the barn anywhere.
No.
That is the heating system, though.
Yes.
Okay. And
Well, this is
anything else down here?
No, we can just
Okay.
head out now.
Now, do you have a lab here or something that you test anything on?
Well, they do testing when they have to do the acidity, that type
Okay.
of thing at the end of the cheese run.
All right, we're just leaving the cheese area in the barn. We've seen the herringbone, the milking parlor. We've seen the loafing barn. We saw where they manufacture the cheese, and now we're going outside, and we're going to take a big step here, folks, down to the level. That's a big step. And this is where you come in, and this is where you get your milk. Where's your milk tank? The extra milk
It's in the back.
in behind. Okay, it's in behind. That's all right. We've
The
seen.
milk that we sell, they come up here, and that's why we don't park
Yeah.
in this area.
Okay. Do you have any bees or anything on the farm?
Yes.
You have to have bees in order to
we
pollinate, eh? You do have. Do you have any fruit trees of any kind?
Some apple.
Apple trees you have?
But they're up by the house.
Okay. Well, we're going to go on here to. We're going to go to the greenhouses, I guess, from here. Very good. We're with a new gentleman now, a new person, and we're going to talk about this. I don't know, 5 acres here or whatever.
About a 3-acre market garden here at
Okay,
Shelburne.
market garden. And your name again, David?
David Miskell.
All right, David. And I think you told me off camera that this was not a Shelburne farm operation right here.
Right.
All right. What do you mean by that?
Well, I mean that I lease the land and the house, and we have our own independent farm business here. And we've been here, this is the 10th season that we've been doing this. The meaning is that for Shelburne Farms, it's a good deal in that what they do is they use this site as part of their whole education program with the children, especially in the springtime for the planting. I sell to the visitors center my tomatoes, and I also sell tomatoes and lettuce and other crops to the inn.
So you raise mostly vegetables?
I raise only vegetables. I raise 99% of what we raise is lettuce and greenhouse organic. It's all done organically. It's greenhouse tomatoes and lettuce.
Can you make enough for the inn? Do they have to buy this? Do they buy it from someplace else? Do they have to?
No. Most of my market is in the Burlington area.
Oh.
The supermarkets.
All right.
To the Martin's stores and Shelburne supermarket.
And you're using just this 3 acres here?
This 3 acres, and then I have my own farm in Charlotte.
All right.
That I have, but it's mostly the production. I have a large greenhouse in Charlotte. We have about a 1/4 acre of greenhouse tomatoes altogether, with about half of it here and half of it at Charlotte.
Okay. A person with a family can't make a living on 3 acres of land like this, can they?
Oh, yeah.
Could they? Is that
Sure.
right?
Yeah,
Oh,
we're making a
wow.
living with what we're doing.
Right here, but without your other farm.
Without the other
All
farm.
right. What
as
do you
well.
do here? Now, you got all these things. What am I seeing way off in the field?
You see lettuce. What we do is we focus on having early lettuce and late lettuce.
Uh-huh.
I try to plan my crops so that we have the crops at the better price times of the year, and that's mostly when home gardeners don't have lettuce or greenhouse tomatoes. And it's also when other growers in the area don't have these crops. So we come in on the early part of the seasons and the late part of the seasons, and we really focus on quality, especially with the greenhouse tomatoes.
Now, do you have to add heat to the greenhouse tomato? You
Yeah.
add some heat?
Yeah, what we should do is walk over
Okay,
there.
we'll walk over and we'll be right back. We're going to walk over.
They are.
Yep.
They are.
All right. Great. Come on, right here too, Teresa. We're talking about greenhouse tomatoes, and the roots stay above ground.
These are the stems. These plants were planted in these greenhouses in March, and they've been growing in the greenhouses since March. And so what happens is the tomato grows and gets trellised and hits up to the top here, and then we lower them. These were all just lowered on Wednesday, and so what happens is that they get lowered and they get brought around the corner, and that this tomato, which started way up there, eventually ends up here. So
You mean you keep turning them?
we keep bringing them around, but they sort of do a circle. In the
Oh, I got to
greenhouse.
ask you, why?
Well, because there's a point where the greenhouse, by the end of the season, the tomato vine itself might be 25, 30 foot long. And if I just grew it straight up, I would need a 30-foot high trellis.
I see what you're saying.
And I would also need an extension. We need bread and puppet people here to harvest.
Are you telling me that there were tomatoes on this part before, as the stem kept getting longer and longer?
That's right. There were tomatoes
On every place that you see along
way
there.
back in May. The tomatoes
I
are way
see.
back down
I
the end.
see. So it's just that's
So
all
what
right.
happens is that, like these tomatoes here, in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, these will be ready to harvest, and we'll harvest these. By the time these are harvested, the tomato plant, this part of the growing point will be up to here, and so what we'll do is harvest these, take the
So
bottom
you prune
leaves
the bottom was
off,
off. All right.
then lower this, and this plant will come around the corner.
When do you stop?
Oh, when I'm too tired.
No, what I mean, what time of
No.
the year here? Because
The past 2 years we've stopped from Thanksgiving till mid-December. Hopefully this year we're going to go until mid-December.
this is a special kind of
They're
tomato
special
plant.
greenhouse varieties
All
from
right.
Holland.
Now, when you plant, how big is the part you plant?
We plant, the plants are about that size. When
In
they
this
go
building?
In this screen. And if it's we heat it, the temperature stays to 70 degrees
So
all
this
the time.
plant could have been, you think, started back
It
15
starts-
feet or more.
Yeah. So they just keep coming.
If you kept the same temperature all the time, when would this wear out? Ever?
It
mean, a
depends
year, 2
upon
years?
disease. We come in, because we grow organically, usually these are done with hydroponics.
What do you mean by that?
Hydroponics means that there's no soil, and
All
it's
right.
just like being in a hospital and having a tube in your arm, and that's how you're living in the hospital, and that's how the plants are living in hydroponic systems. But
Amazing.
here, what we do is we feed them organically with compost, and we're getting a better taste.
Right, when will you take your last tomato off these plants, you figure? here?
Hopefully mid-December. this year.
Mid-December?
Yeah. Yeah.
Snow could have fallen.
Oh, snow, probably for sure.
Now, you've got the sides up today. You drop those down and then
We
you can
drop
heat it,
those
right?
down,
Oh, the
yeah.
heat, of course, the heat
Oh,
of the sun would do a
Well,
lot.
at nighttime, we have heaters back there, and at nighttime the greenhouses are kept 70 degrees even now.
Okay.
So
well,
the heat was on last night, and that's why my propane truck was here filling up the tank.
Let me ask you a more difficult question. This is going to be an estimate. If you picked every tomato on these plants right now, how many bushels would you have?
Well, we try to get. The ideal is to get about 20 pounds per plant.
That's during the season. But I mean, if you were to pick them all right now and brought them out and put them in a truck, any idea how many bushels you'd have right now?
Well, let's see.
I know there's a lot of different sizes. That's a very difficult question.
I mean, in the season, between all of the greenhouses for one harvest, in the prime of the season, we get maybe 1,500, 2,000 pounds.
That many? Ooh. Now, these like that, they're all perfect. Is that because they're not dragging on the ground where they get a lot of their spots on when you're ripe tomatoes?
That's why we grow them in greenhouses, is because we can control the environment. Outside, I used to grow tomatoes outside and Vermont is not. This is not an area to grow tomatoes outside.
Okay.
You might have